Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home sellers want to sell their homes for the most money that they can get. However, there are some situations where people need to use other non-traditional ways of selling. Can you tell us about the cash offer program that you're offering?
Well, yeah, Richard, we actually have not just one cash offer. With most home sellers, we show up with six, sometimes eight offers on their home at the first meeting. So they have a choice. They can either go on the open market, deal with showing after showing, and have these agents come through the house and nitpick. It needed that. The carpet isn't perfect. I don't like the popcorn ceilings. I don't like the backyard. I mean, oh my God. you
I
know,
know, just listening to that.
and the agents, they don't know how to deal with objections. They could say something like, other than the carpet, do you think that maybe we could negotiate to get a concession to get you brand new carpet? Other than that, do you think you could see yourself in this home? Do you want to go back to the office and explore it further? But they don't do that. They just listen to the negatives and move on. I've even seen agents show homes where the buyer was in love with the home, and then they keep showing them other homes. It's like, what are you doing?
What?
There's no training, there's no standardization. It's extremely frustrating for home sellers because they'll hear all this weak feedback that could easily be addressed, and or they hear feedback on a ranch that they need a two-story, which tells me the agent never interviewed the buyer at all about what they were looking for. They're just opening the door and hoping it works out. So I get frustrated with that, and so do the sellers, because there it is a process. Obviously it's a huge investment, right? But the agents have a role to play to encourage them that, hey, we can overcome some of these problems. So the first thing that we do with home sellers is we ask them which experience they want to have when they sell their house. Do they want to go through that process where they have to wait 120 days to get to the finish line, deal with all these showings, deal with inspectors and agents blowing up deals until we finally actually close? Or do they want the sure bet, cost a little bit more? We know exactly when we can close. We know exactly when we can turn over the house, and we can move on to our next phase, our next home in life. And that is the benefit of a cash offer, is the absolute certainty. These people aren't going to rug pull you like a live in the home buyer. What those guys do is they'll go, oh, I love the house. Oh my God. Then we create all this demand destruction because we have to, the MLS rules are that we have to tell the world that it's under contract, which means that other agents won't show it, even though at this point it's not certain. That buyer or the inspector or somebody could blow up the deal between now and closing. And it happens probably 25% of the time right now. Those are not very good odds. So in the meantime, you've got your house telling the world it's not available, and you're waiting for this buyer to either go or no go. So you engage in inspection negotiations, appraisal negotiations, uncertainty of whether or not the lender can get to the finish line. All those things could happen during the process. And I just got an inspection objection yesterday where I fully read the whole report from the inspector. And just because there was a little bit of dirt on a windowsill, from that, he assumed, oh my God, there's mold. You have to bring in a mold remediation company and solve the problem, right? And it's, well, did he test for mold? No. Is there any empirical data about that? No, but it's enough to influence the buyer to walk away. So that's why home sellers hate that process. They hate dealing with showings and having to leave the house so people can come look at the home, and they have to gather up kids and pets and everybody else, make sure the house looks pretty. And then they're going to tie up your house for 30 or 45 days. And I have had people walk away days before closing just because, and think that they get their earnest money deposit back because they changed their mind. So I'm just saying, sellers hate the traditional sales process. And right now, with the market being a little soft and compromised, guess what? I don't blame them. For me, it would be worth paying a few percentage points more to not ever have to deal with it. So, and some people worry about, do I have to fix up the house? Well, it depends on the price. We sold a home this summer in Briargate, and it was four brothers that inherited the home. They decided they wanted to sell the home absolutely as is. We went down the cash offer process. They didn't want to do that, but they said, we're not fixing anything, right? So that I said, well, there's a different price for that. Full market value would be this higher number, but needs repairs would be this lower number. So we did the lower number, had a huge crowd look at the home, had 4 offers. It sold for $20,000 over asking price. But guess what? They still had to do a couple of repairs. They had to replace the roof, because if you get a live in the home buyer and your roof has compromised with hail, they cannot get homeowners insurance on that roof. So they're going to demand that you file a claim in order to replace that roof. So there's a lot of uncertainties that go with the traditional sales price. And that is why people opt for a cash offer. And what if you're building a home? Let's say you picked a brand new home that you want to buy. Many of these builders will not accept what we call a sale contingency because they fully understand how uncertain this market is right now. We've got interest rates on the high side. They know all about how buyers could walk away from the sale and leave them holding the bag. And they have a monthly cost of carrying that new construction home until it actually sells. So they won't take a sale contingency. We can solve that problem with our cash offer platform. And you know what? It's an increasing amount of people that are accepting cash deals. At least it is in my practice. I'm having more and more sellers go, hey, I'm not dealing with that. I can't wait 4 months. Let's do this now. Can I get closed in a month and get my money? And we're like, absolutely, we can do it. So these cash offer programs are gaining momentum because they know for sure it's going to go through. Even if they need to do repairs, what these buyers do is they might just say, okay, we will change the deduction off the house to cover the cost of repairs, that kind of thing. So it's really no hassle. You don't have to deal with repairs. You don't have to deal with buyers coming through your house. You have one very light inspection, and then you collect your money in 2 to 3 weeks. So it's really, really good. And you also don't have to prepare your home for sale. Not everybody is the HGTV home seller. I know I'm not. If I put my house on the market right now, it would be a lot of work to get it to where I would think would be what I would consider would be acceptable to present to the world. It would take me months. I just know that. So you don't have to prepare your home for sale when you take a cash offer. You get to move when you want. And some of these investors will let you stay in the home even months after closing. That way you've got your money, you can make your next move and move on your schedule, which is really a great benefit. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about why accepting a cash offer might be a good idea right now, especially in this market where the prices are dropping. There's fewer buyers to choose from, and it's taking a lot longer to sell. This brings back in certainty to the deal where you know for sure you're going to get to the finish line on this date at this price, even full market value without any trouble. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. Barb is the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb at 719-301-3900. We're talking, Barb, about selling a home. So, Barb, why would a home seller be interested in getting a cash offer on their home?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, and everybody has different reasons, but I would say number one, it's nothing like the traditional sales process. These buyers are paying cash. They don't have to get a third-party opinion of value called an appraisal. You have an expedited closing time frame. Up front, they will give you a letter showing they have plenty of money to close on the sale. There's really no risk of failure unless there's some condition issue with the home that they decide after they do the inspection they cannot overcome, which I haven't seen that happen. You have total peace of mind. You have certainty it's sold. You don't have to worry about repairs. And you don't really have to do a lot of paperwork. So one of the things that frustrates the regular sellers is that, you've negotiated to go under contract, then they come back and do an inspection and they ask for more stuff. So now you're negotiating again. And most home sellers, they've already spent the money that I gave them with their net proceeds in their mind, right? So they don't like surprises and having to come out of pocket for even more expenses after the buyer does this inspection. So it's a really good, it's just some of the great reasons to deal with a cash sale. And you don't have to deal with strangers coming through your house, which a lot of people don't like that either. So, now is really a good time to buy a house because the prices are not at, top of the price point that we've seen in the past couple of years. And you could set everything up where you close on time, you have peace of mind, and you know for sure you're getting to the finish line on this date at this time without any hassle. If you are thinking of making a move, you have options with us. You can either get a cash offer or you could go on the open market and see what's available there. And you know what? This cash offer is available as a backdrop as well down the road if you don't like what the market's doing. Just give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, Barb's number is 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to avoid contract failures on a home inspection when you're selling your home.